All right, we're here with NCCU head football coach Jerry Mack. The Eagles coming off of a 42-14 win over Delaware State. Coach, did you enjoy homecoming?
I always enjoy win. That's the biggest thing. But really pleased with the way our team responded after coming off that loss a couple of weeks ago. I thought all phases of the game, offense, defense, and special teams, we did some really good things. And hopefully we can keep it going forward and try to come out with a win this weekend.
How was their preparation leading up to that game after suffering the first conference loss in 18 games? How was the preparation the week leading up to Delaware State?
Well, I think anytime you have a loss, you have somewhat of a wake-up call. And I think the preparation and our attention to detail and focus, especially throughout the week, you talk about Tuesdays and Wednesday practices, were really good last week. I think the guys were a lot more locked in, a lot more in tune to whatever the game plan was. And the biggest thing, it all comes down to Saturday, how they come out there and their intensity and their focus on Saturday. And that's what they came and showed this past weekend.
As you get down the final stretch here, the last 3 weeks of the season, and throughout the conference standings, a lot of three teams with identical records. Does it feel like kind of like a playoff stretch the last 3 weeks here?
And that's what we told them. It's a sudden death. You lose one game, you're probably out of the contention for a championship. So you got to take that approach to everything. Every game is valuable. Every game is important. And we've been taking it one game at a time, so it's really no different. So it doesn't feel like anything different. But just understand the importance of every game. And the first team on the list is Hampton.
Obviously, you have Hampton coming up, but you did get some help this weekend with Hampton losing and Norfolk State losing. Did that kind of make the path a little clearer now to what you guys got to do to get back to the Celebration Bowl?
Not really. We always felt like, we got to control our own destiny. We still control our own destiny. And the name of the game is we got to try to win every game that's placed ahead of us. No matter if those teams had lost or won or whatnot, it really didn't matter to us. We know at the end of the day we were going to face a couple of teams that had not lost going into this weekend, before this weekend. And we was going to have to, we was going to face all of those guys in the month of November.
Looks like they've stepped that program up a little bit. What is it that has been different for them this year to get them to the level? I mean, I know they just suffered their first loss, but they went into last week undefeated in the conference. What is it about that program that Connell Maynor has done to bring it to the level that it's at now, and what you guys will be facing this weekend?
Anytime you take over a new program, I think it just takes time to get your personnel together and build the chemistry and build some of the culture that you want within the program. And that's what you've seen going into Coach Maynor's fourth year. He's finally got his personnel, and as most of all that roster is his roster that he's built. So now it's just a matter of those guys are starting to believe they're playing well. He's done a good job in all phases of the game as far as getting the personnel he needs to be successful, and they're just going to keep getting better and better. And you've seen the progress, just in this year alone.
What is it they're doing well on offense and defense?
Offensively, I think they're doing a really good job of being balanced. They have a great balanced attack. That means the quarterback is doing some really good things. They got two dynamic running backs, and they put together two receivers that I think are two of the better receivers in our entire conference. And defensively, those guys are hardly ever out of position. They're always where they're supposed to be, and they're creating some havoc and have some tackles for losses. They're up there in sacks as well. So they're doing a really good job as far as coaches putting those guys in position to be successful.
They have a guy, just looking at their lineup here, the receiver you talked about, he has a similar build to Taylor at Norfolk State. Is he a similar type player, slot guy, really quick?
They are. All those guys are really quick twitch guys that can not only make plays in space, but they can also make plays down the field. I know you look at their size. I think one is 5'6", the other one is 5'10", but I've seen those guys jump up and catch balls over guys that are obviously taller than they are. So, I mean, they have some range as well at their receiver position, which is impressive.
I know Maynard, when he was at Winston-Salem, he was a quarterback in college, so he's a offensive-minded guy. They like to chunk it down the field, or they like a dink and dunk type offense.
I think whatever the defense gives them, that's what you kind of see on film. There have been games, I think, in over this year that he has had a lot of completions and they dinked and dunked the ball, but Cornell's never going to be afraid to throw the ball down the field, always really good with some trick plays as well. He's a very creative mind, and I think that's what you see with Hampton's offense.
When you look at the league standings, and like I said, it's three teams at 4-1, and A&T's undefeated, and Savannah and Delaware got their first wins in the league. What's the difference in the league this year as opposed to last year, when it was kind of just like you guys, A&T, and everybody else?
I think you see the quality of coaching and the players, and everybody's just doing a really good job. I mean, everybody has a nice budget, or everybody has their strengths and weaknesses in their program, but everybody's doing a good job of overcoming whatever their weaknesses are, and they're putting the players in position to be successful. A lot of coaches. We have some good coaches in our league. It's a lot of parity in the league. We talked about that when we first came into the season. Is that any team this year will have an opportunity? You even see the teams that have not been as good in the past. You know, they made a tremendous come up this past year.
So you already had that feel before the year started. What was it kind of gave you that hint that this would be the year that would be like that?
Well, you can see just the quality of the teams getting better and better each year. You know, when we first came to the league in 2014, you could kind of see it then, and then over the last probably 4 years, every year that team ends up one of those teams that's at the bottom tier. They find a way to win 1 or 2 more games, and the next year they find a way to win 1 or 2 more games. And now Hampton is a very good situation. You know, they had a couple of down seasons, and now they're right there in the thick of things with a lot of other people.
Is it better? Just piggybacking off of that topic real quick, is it better for the conference as a whole to have that parity, to have, you know, numerous teams in contention for that championship, compared to maybe having 2 top teams like A&T and NCCU getting that national recognition? You know, when you're in the polls every week, like people from throughout the country is seeing, okay, A&T, they're number 8, NCCU is number 14. They must play in a really good conference. But like when you have the parity that you have, you don't kind of get that national recognition. Do you kind of see what I'm saying? Yeah. What's better for the conference?
I love the national recognition from having a lot of parity in the league. I think right now what you see is, you know, Howard has their success this past year with upsetting UNLV. We've had some success this year. We've been ranked at one point in time. A&T's been ranked at one point in time. They're still ranked, I'm sorry. And then, you know, other teams could easily get in that mix as well. And the more recognition from across the conference that we get teams that are all in the top 25, that's just going to make our conference stronger, and that's going to make people understand that we're playing quality ball in the MEAC. And, you know, obviously we got the Celebration Bowl, but that will help if we ever get another team in the playoffs like we did last year as well. And that would just, you know, increase the notoriety, increase the respect for our conference, because when you have 5 and 6 teams with winning records at the end of the year in the conference, that's impressive.
Coach, you talked about, you know, after your loss, you know, you talked about the practice and the focus and everything, and then you went out and beat Delaware State the way you did. What was most impressive for you, offense, defensive line, that came alive for you, that you're impressed with?
I really liked the way our offense responded to the challenge that was put forward to them. Our quarterback, he responded. You know, he was Rookie of the Week this past week. Jason Murphy had a good game as well, and then Nick Leverett was Offensive Lineman of the Week. So I think our offense did a really good job of responding to the task at hand. They saw some of the things that they really need to improve on. They saw that they need to increase their focus, and I think they got a glimpse of, if they do that week in and week out, how good they really can be. And then defensively, we did some really good things as well. I'm not going to take away anything from our defense. We were playing with some new guys, new spots. I saw some guys step up and do some really good things. We had a young man that hasn't played all year end up coming up with an interception. So that just tells you that he's listening to in the meeting. He's listening to what we're preaching throughout the week, and he saw an opportunity to go in there and make a play, and he did it.
Was Jason in a situation he was just in a zone, or the defense was just giving him opportunities? Was he calling for the ball? What led to him have such a productive day Saturday? It
was just happened to be the defense was giving us some things that we felt like Jason could take advantage of. If there would have been somebody else, you know, next weekend maybe David Miller's chance. Next weekend maybe Xavier McCoy's chance. You just never know. The defense presented some different coverages, some different fronts where Jason was able to take advantage of it. And you're going to have some of those nights sometimes as a wide receiver.
We got Mario here with us today, your cornerback. He stepped in this year and filled some big shoes at the cornerback position. Just kind of talk about his role and how he's done that out there at Allen playing corner this year.
Well, we're really proud of what DeMario's been able to accomplish in his time here. You know, he came in last year and he had kind of a sparing role on the defense, returning some kicks and some punts and things like that for us last year. This year, his role has increased some. He's played a lot more snaps at the cornerback position, and he's had a chance to be successful. Was able to go out there and get a turnover, intercept the ball the other day. He's been telling us he has great hands, so we finally got a chance to see it. But we're just really proud of his work ethic. You know, he did a great job over the summer and in the spring. He was most improved defensive player after our spring practice this past year. So it's all kind of coming together on him. And the most exciting thing, he still has another year to play college football.
Here with NCCU defensive back Demario Evans. Demario, can you just talk about this past weekend's victory over Delaware State?
It was a fun victory, of course. You know, it was homecoming. we went out there, had fun as a team. You know, some other guys got in and had fun, so it was just a good experience.
And coming off of a loss the week prior, was there a kind of an emphasis on just going out and having fun? Because it looked like, obviously it was homecoming, but it looked like you guys had a little more fun than usual.
Yeah, Coach Mack, you know, explained to us that, you know, we got to get back to the basics and the fundamentals of football, and that's having fun and doing the little things. So we did that the whole week. And then, you know, translated Saturday, you know, we all got the ability on the field. So we just start doing the little things and we start having fun again.
And you got your first interception. Can you walk us through that play and what that meant to you?
Yeah, it meant a lot because the guy that was playing at Delaware State, he's my homeboy. We grew up together. So, you know, I was in cover 2, but it became man match because he went 7 yards and he threw it. And I seen that he kind of overthrew it. So I just ran underneath it, picked it off. You know, it was my first one, so it meant a lot. It wasn't my first time, you know, obviously having an interception, but here at Central. So it meant a lot to me. And it was, you know, it was exciting.
Did you have your eyes on the end zone?
Yeah, I definitely did. I always got my eyes on the end zone when I got the ball in my hand. But, you know, unfortunately, it didn't go that way.
You said you guys grew up together. You guys play youth league or something? Middle school ball, high school ball together?
Nah, I'm older than him, but, you know, he liked football and I like football too, so we always just ran around and played football together and stuff like that. And then, you know, I left North Carolina, he stayed. But every time I came back, you know, we linked up and worked out and stuff like that.
You guys win games in a few different ways. We've seen blowouts and close, dramatic finishes.
Mm-hmm.
Which one's more fun and why?
The close ones. Because that's what I love about football. The adversity, you know, when somebody scores on you, you got to bounce back. And that's what I like. And my life kind of compares to that.
Tell me a little more about that. You said your life compares to that. What kind of adversity have you bounced back from, and what have you learned from those situations?
I had to take the JUCO route before I got here. And, you know, it was hard. It wasn't no easy. You know, people think that it's just a walk in the park, but it wasn't a walk in the park. It had its moments, but it was all worth it. You know, I made the best decision coming here.
You know, you may have heard me ask Coach Mack this, but the last three weeks of the season, does it kind of feel like maybe it's a playoff situation because you guys lose? You're not necessarily out of it, but it kind of hurts your chances. It kind of feel like, you know, you're in survival mode now?
Yes, sir, definitely. Coach Mack explained that to us when we received our first loss. We still control our own destiny, as he say, but we're definitely in that situation where if we lose, it's going to get slim and we're going to have to wait on somebody else.
That's something the guys talk about a lot the last couple of weeks, so you guys understand what you have to do.
Yes, sir. We just got to go out there and play our game and take it one game at a time. Right now, we worried about Hampton and Hampton only, nobody else.
Talk about Hampton, they're dangerous receivers. You playing cornerback, I imagine, to all you guys, that's a challenge to kind of go out here and make sure they don't make big plays against you guys.
Yes, sir. It definitely is, but, you know, we're going to go to practice today and do what we got to do, take it one day at a time, and then when Saturday roll around, we're going to do what we got to do.
What makes their receivers so dangerous?
They can really separate from people. They fast, and, you know, they young dudes, and they athletes.
What do you think about the position that you guys are in right now, especially within the MEAC, still in a position to control your own destiny? Is this something you and your teammates are talking about as far as playing these last few games? You know, like your life depends on it.
Yeah.
You guys want to be, you know, 4-time defending MEAC champs?
Yeah, we definitely be having conversations about it and just, you know, speaking how we ain't got room for error. So we got to give it everything. We got everything. So we going to definitely handle it week in and week out.
Coach has told us in the past that you guys are a team that y'all aren't afraid to talk about championships during the season, before games, at halftime. Now that you guys picked up that loss a few weeks back, do you hear that championship talk more or less?
We hear it more. Yeah, we have confidence in our team. You know, with the loss, I'm not gonna say like we really needed it, but I feel like we needed it as a young team because like the team before, they was, you know, they just was rolling. They all played with each other, so that kind of brought us, you know, closer together and this and that. So I think we're gonna be more powerful.
Last year, you know, Celebration Bowl ends. Mike's a junior. Nolan is a junior as well. So those two guys who started, you play behind them. So everybody assumes they're coming back. Camp rolls around in August, and you're the guy on that one corner. Did you kind of train and prepare, starting back in the spring, that you could be the guy and kind of knock and take one of those guys' spots?
Yes, sir, definitely. At the end of the Celebration Bowl, I had a conversation with Coach McCoy. You know, he was just letting me know that I'm gonna have to do what I got to do. So from that day forward, when I went home, you know, I got with my mentor. He's my trainer. We went after it, And then when I got back here, I got with Coach Lee, Coach McCoy. We went after extra work, and then the spring, it started showing. I knew the defense more. I was flying around. I was comfortable. Then, summer came around, fall camp came around, and I just took everything my coaches gave me and ran with it.
Who's your mentor? You say your mentor trains you?
A guy named Apollo Stretch.
Is that down in South Carolina or Charlotte?
South Carolina. He played at Newberry College.
Okay. And so did you kind of approach every day with him as if, like, I'm going to take somebody's spot? Like I said, you didn't know that Nolan wouldn't be here. We knew Mike wouldn't be here in, December, but you kind of know, like, I'm going to take one of those spots when I get back.
Yes, sir. I talk to him almost every day, so he knows everything that's going on. So, when I let him know the situation, and when I got home, we went straight to work.
What did you kind of learn playing behind those two guys last year, and it kind of translate over to your success on the field this year?
Well, I learned a lot from both of them. I learned from Mike, being a technician, because, going JUCO, you don't really get that type of coaching. They let you fly around and play football. So when I got here, I struggled with that. So I picked that up behind Mike. And then, with Nolan, he's just a fighter. He's a dog. And, I always had some dog in me, but you hang around Nolan, you get that type of feel from him. And I translated that to my game also.
At what point did you realize, okay, I might have to reach? I mean, Alfonso's a new guy, too.
Mm-hmm.
You would be, like, the most experienced guy on the corner.
Repeat that question again.
So at what point did you, look around the room and it kind of hit you that you were the most experienced guy in the cornerback's room? Because Alfonso's new here.
Mm-hmm.
Then, like I said, Nolan and Mike were gone.
When camp came around and it came to knowing certain things, and that was the only way we was going to separate. Because Alfonso Carter, he's a great athlete, and, the other guys in the room, everybody's in our room can line up and play. But it came down to who knows the most and who knows who's taking the coaching, at the best advantage, and that's when it came down to.
So last year, were you kind of not as comfortable in the playbook as you are this year because you were kind of new?
Yes, sir. It was the playbook. Like, coming from JUCO, we had 3 calls, and coming here, you got 1 call and you got 5 different checks to that call. So, I came in camp, so I had to learn all that on the fly, and it was a different type, style of football for me. It wasn't just line up and I'm better than you type of football. It has a lot of structure on this level, and I'm happy that I got that experience.
This has been an exclusive presentation of the NCCU Sports Network.